My dear viewer students, I am going to present this session on The Last Leaf, a short story written by O. Henry. Uh, in the earlier period, we had a discussion on poetry, that too on the poem that was If You Forget Me, written by Pablo Neruda. And then we faced the test on poetry, and now we are going to discuss this story, The Last Leaf, written by O. Henry. Before we go to the story by reading the text, we'll have to know the writer, and that is the first objective in this session. We have to know the writer and what literary contributions he has made to American English literature, and then we shall have an introduction to the poem as for the title is concerned, as for the theme of the poem is concerned. We have to know in advance, before we get into the text of the poem, text of the story, we have to know the title and what is the theme of this story, so that it helps you to comprehend the story in a better way. And also you will read with different attitude. You will read with an object of different analysis, object of different type of understanding of the story. Let's now discuss about this writer in brief. Being the language students, you need not go for lots of details of the writer, because you don't have the scope to show your knowledge of the writer in the examination, because the examiner expects you to write the answer directly. But you should know, for your knowledge sake, you should know something about the writer in brief. See, this writer O. Henry, this name itself is his pen name, but his real name is William Sidney Porter. He became a famous story writer because of the ironic plots, because of his technique of revelation in the end, and because of his detective qualities in his stories. He became a famous writer, and he became so popular with his best known stories like The Trimmed Lamp and other stories in that collection. We do have these stories like The Gift of Magi, The Furnished Room, and the other best known stories are like The Ransom of Red Chief. It is a story of a small boy kidnapped by two people, but those kidnappers wanted to get rid of this boy. They did not want to get the ransom from his father, because such a boy he was, they couldn't maintain him, and that's why they will send him back by giving ransom to the father of that child itself. So that is a very humorous and beautiful story. And other stories like After 20 Years, became a very famous story. And this story that we are going to study now is a very, very heart touching and very symbolic and very meaningful story that makes us to read so meticulously with greater interest of analyzing the story in different ways. About the writer, something more let us know that O. Henry was born on 11 September 1862 at Greensboro. This is the name of the place, Greensboro in US, Carolina State. And he died in 1910 at the early age of 47. Some brief details of his life, like he lost his wife in 1902. While he was in New York, he lost his first wife, and within a short time, immediately, he married another wife. So, in New York, he was very active in writing stories. So, he wrote 381 short stories, and as I mentioned, best known stories of O. Henry are these. In 1896, one important incident happened in his life. That incident was a criminal case was filed against him. That criminal case was of the misappropriation of money or misappropriation of bank fund or embezzlement of bank fund. So with this charge, he was a criminal case was filed. But in that criminal case, he was convicted. But at the same time, he lost his wife also. And the court declared the very most light sentence. Very light sentence the court declared. And that was one incident in his life. So with this much of his details of life, we can now move on to the story, The Last Leaf. Before we get into the text of the story, let us have some introduction to the story that guides you, that introduction guides you how to read the story, with what points of views you have to read that story, and what else you can go in search of, what else you can go in search of while you read the story with better comprehension. So let me tell you about the title of the story. The title of the story, The Last Leaf. See, leaf, it is an element of the nature. It is an element of the nature. Nature is a source of life. So, that last leaf is symbolically used as the last ray of hope in one's life. And that last ray of hope in one's life is nothing else than the nature itself. Because as you live in the bosom of nature, who is your mother, as Wordsworth says, if you live in the bosom of your mother, nature, and that nature itself is your teacher, nature itself is your mother, nature itself is your guide, and that's why it never leaves you helpless. That so anything that is hopeful is there in nature. That is the message, and here the title is very beautifully selected, The Last Leaf. So why this last leaf seems to be a very suitable title for the story, that what exactly happens in the story, to that this title suits very beautifully. And then what other points of views, with what other points of views we can read the story. See, creation is nothing but nature. Creation is nothing but nature. ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅದು ಈ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್, ಮರುಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಯಾವುದು? ರಿಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಆರ್ಟ್, ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಆರ್ಟ್, ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ we do have two things. The story presents us two important things. One is creation in the form of nature. Another is recreation in the form of art. So creation gives us life, nature gives us life. Recreation, that is art, that saves our life. Here creation, that is nature, gives us life, and recreation, that is art, saves our life. And that is why which one is the masterpiece in art? The masterpiece in art is not that gives you name and fame, not that earns you name and fame, but that saves your life. That is the masterpiece, and that is what the writer gives the message in this story. And in other way, here there is a psychological problem beautifully treated in this story. A psychological problem beautifully treated. What is that psychological problem? That is an acute obsessive disorder. It is a mental disease. Commonly, large number of people will have this kind of a mental disease, but the majority of the people never face its abnormality. It does not become abnormal among many of the people. That's why they never come to have the awareness that they are having this disease. But only for those people for whom it pains, for whom it becomes abnormal, and they will suffer from it. And there it makes it show that it is a problem, it is a disease for some people. So that has been well treated in this story. Very beautifully. With that point of view also, we can read this story, The Last Leaf. So now, let us go to the text. And before we begin to read the text, we should know what are the characters, what are the protagonists we do have in this short story. Whether you read a novel or a short story or a play, you should be aware of the characters in that particular plot, because if you forget the names of the characters, the story will not be so comprehensive to you. That's why before we get into the story, we should know what are the characters. Here there are two women characters, Shu and John C. These two are the friends, painters. These two are the artist friends, painter friends. And another character, Mr. Behrman, is another artist who wants to become the world famous artist by producing a masterpiece to the world that always keeps his name carved in the whole world as not to be wiped out. So that person, Mr. Behrman, is another character who is also an artist. And their doctor's appearance is also there in the story, but his role is very little bit. Now, let us go to the story, because unless we read the text of the story, it will be the waste of time, and we will lose the opportunity of the beauty of the story if we just discuss and if we just critically analyze the story without going to the text. It will be a great loss to you people, and that's why I read the text and make you understand the story. See, it happens in a small part of the city west of Washington Square. There the streets have gone wild. Means it is not a beautiful part of the city. It is the part of the city where everything is not good. That area is not so aristocratic one. Means it is the area of the poor people. It is the area of the middle class or low class people, and that's why there the everything is not so attractive. All those streets are broken into pieces. Means it is not systematically developed area. It is broken into pieces. Such a backward place it is. One street goes across itself one or two times. A painter once discovered something possible and valuable about this street. Any painter who feels that it is a valuable street, because usually the artists or the painters are poor financially. They are not well bred, they are not well to do. It is very natural that painters are usually not so rich. That's why they want to have the low cost residence and low cost life. That is why they like this street so much. For them, this street is very useful and very valuable. And that is why these two painters, that is two friends, Shu and John C., they come to this part of the city. And in this part of the city, they go in search of some place to stay there. Let's see which place they select. This part of the city is called Greenwich Village. This part of the west of Washington Square is called Greenwich Village, and the story is set in that area. And to old Greenwich Village, the painter soon came. These two, Shu and John C., came to this old Greenwich Village. Here they found rooms they like, with good light and at a low cost. They came to this Greenwich Village because the painters don't have much money with them, because the profession of painting is not well given, or he is not having handsome income, and that's why they prefer low cost life. They prefer light and low cost life. That's why for them this Greenwich Village is a very nice one. So they come to this place. Shu and Johnsy, see, Shu and Johnsy, both these friend painters, they lived at the top of a building with 3 floors. They selected the room in the top of the building with 3 floors. They lived together in a single room. One of these young women came from Maine. See, these 2 friends come from different places. One from Maine, the other from California. They had met a restaurant on English Street. See, when they came to this place, they stayed there in the 3rd floor, top floor of the building, and they became friends when they met at a restaurant on English Street. And there they discovered that they liked the same kind of art, the same kind of food, and the same kind of clothes. They became friends because both of them are like-minded. So they came together to this place after becoming very good friends. So they decided to live and work together. See what happens here. ಈ ಕತೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಆರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇದು ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಷಿಂಗ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ನ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಆದಂಥ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಅದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್. ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಸಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಗ್ರೀನ್ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಪೇಂಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು, ಆರ್ಟಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಚೀಪ್ ಆದಂಥ ಲೈಫನ್ನು ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಅಂದರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಖರ್ಚಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುವಂಥ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಏರಿಯಾ ಅಂಥ ಫ್ರಾಶ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಥ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ವೆಲ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನಲ್ಲ, ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಗಳು ದೇ ವೇರ್ ಕಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಪೀಸಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಏರಿಯಾ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಸೊ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯಾಪಜಾರ್ಡ್ ವೇ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರಂತೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಟಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಪೂರ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಪೂರ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಕಲೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ. ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕಲೆಗಾರ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ತುಂಬ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕವಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಡತನದಾಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪರಿಶುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೀತೈತಂತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು 3 ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಟಾಪ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೂಮ್ನ ಇವರು ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೌದು, ಇವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಉಳಿಯೋಕೆ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇವ್ರು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆದರು ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಇವರೊಂದು ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟಿನ ಒಂದು ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಆಗ ಇವರು ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರು ಪರಿಚಿತರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಬ್ಬರು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡೋದು ಒಂದೇ ಕಲೆ, ಇಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡೋದು ಒಂದೇ ಥರದ ಫುಡ್ಡು, ಇಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದೇ ಥರದ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವಿಬ್ಬರು ಲೈಕ್ ಮೈಂಡೆಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾವಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮಿಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ತುಂಬ ಸಾಮ್ಯತೆ ಐತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದಾಗ ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರು ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆದ ಇವರು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಇದ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಗ್ರೀನ್ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ 3 ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗಿನ ಟಾಪ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೂಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ವಾಸವಾಗಿರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನೌ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. what happens in the next part of the story. That was in the spring. See, they began living in a single room, and that was a spring season. So, towards winter, a cold stranger entered Greenwich village. No one could see him. In that Greenwich village, in the winter season, a strange friend entered into the Greenwich village. Who is that strange friend? Let's see in the next few lines. He walked around touching one person here and another there with his icy fingers. He moves on throughout that Greenwich village, everywhere, touching one and the other here and there with his icy fingers. He was a bad sickness. Who is that strange friend? That strange friend is nobody else, but he is a bad sickness. Doctors called him pneumonia. According to doctors, that strange friend, the bad sickness, is nothing else but the disease called pneumonia. On the east side of the city, he hurried, touching many people, but in the narrow streets of Greenwich village, he did not move so quickly. In the east part of the city, he has already spread that disease everywhere. He had touched so many people there, and here now he has entered into the narrow streets. So he could not travel so fastly here. He is touching one here and another there, like that he touches many people. In this paragraph, you can observe here the story writer O. Henry has personified this disease pneumonia to be a person. He is personified to be a person. How he presents here as the strange friend, and he moves everywhere, and he is the bad sickness. The doctors call him pneumonia. Mr. Pneumonia was not a nice old gentleman. See, who will like a disease, that too pneumonia, that leads somebody to fatality, because this disease of pneumonia is deadly one. By that time, still there was no good medicine for such diseases, and that's why that disease was fatal by that time. And not a nice gentleman. Pneumonia was not a nice gentleman. A nice old gentleman would not hurt a weak little woman from California. This nice old gentleman, she could not hurt a woman from California, that Jhansi. That Jhansi came from California, and she is infected with pneumonia. But Mr. Pneumonia touched Jhansi with his cold fingers. But anyway, this Mr. Pneumonia touched with his cold fingers this Jhansi. Means this pneumonia attacked Jhansi, a friend of you. She lay on her bed almost without moving, and she looked through the window at the wall of the house next to hers. When she is attacked by this disease pneumonia, she just slept down in her bed. She never gets up and walk. She becomes bedridden, being attacked by pneumonia. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್ನೊಳಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಪರಿಚಿತವಾದಂಥ ಗೆಳೆಯ ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಮಾಡಿದಂತೆ. ಆ ಅಪರಿಚಿತವಾದ ಗೆಳೆಯನ್ನ ಯಾರು ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ ಯಾರಿಗೂ. ಅವನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ. ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅವನು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕವ್ರನ್ನ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಹೀಗೆ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಅವನು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸಿಕ್ನೆಸ್, ಮತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ಭಯಾನಕವಾದ ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ರೋಗ. ಅದನ್ನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು ನ್ಯೂಮೋನಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಆನ್ ದ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಟಿ ಈ ಹರೀಡ್, ಭಾಳ ಅವಸರವಾಗಿ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಾಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ತನ್ನ ಐಸಿ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಮುಟ್ಟಿ ಬಂದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾರೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದ, ನುಗ್ಗಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಆ ನ್ಯಾರೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ನಾಗ ಹೋಗೋಕೆ. ಇಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ನ್ಯೂಮೋನಿಯಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ನೈಸ್ ಜೆಂಟಲ್ಮನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ತಾನೇ ಒಂದು ರೋಗನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವನು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಬಂದು ನುಗ್ಗಿದ. ಸೊ ನುಗ್ಗಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದು ಝಾನ್ಸಿ. ಈ ಝಾನ್ಸಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ರೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ತುತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾಳೆ. ಈ ರೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ತುತ್ತಾದಾಗ ಅವಳು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಬೆಡ್ ರಿಡನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾಳೆ, ಎದ್ದು ಓಡಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಒನ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಬಿಸಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಕ್ ಟು ಶೂ alone in the hall where Jhansi could not hear. The doctor came and tested and diagnosed this Jhansi that she is suffering from pneumonia, and the doctor called that patient's friend Shu, and he conveyed what he diagnosed in the patient. What he says, she has a very small chance, he said. She has a chance if she wants to live. If people don't want to live, I can't do much for them. Your little lady has decided that she is not going to get well. Is there something that is troubling her? The doctor diagnosed that she is suffering from pneumonia, and he conveyed the same to her friend Shu, telling her that she has a very small chance to live, means she is going to die. She is unable to recover from this disease. That too because of one reason, that she is psychologically not hopeful. Psychologically she has lost the hope of getting recovered from that disease. That's why the doctors can only save those who want to live. But this lady has already decided that she is going to die. Then it would be very difficult for a doctor to save such people. If they are mentally good, they can be treated well by the doctor. But if they don't have confidence in them, if they have lost their confidence, if they are obsessed with the pessimistic mood, they are obsessed with the concept that they are going to die, they don't live, then such people will lose half of the chance to recover from the disease. And that's why doctor asks Shu, is there any other problem for her, for this state of her mind, that she has lost the hope and she has already decided. In her mind, she has the feeling that she is going to die. Is there any problem for her? Doctor makes an inquiry with Shu, because Shu, being an intimate friend, should know all the secret things about her friend Jhansi. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಂದು ಜಾನ್ಸಿನ ಮಲಗಿದ ಬೆಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಲಗಿದ ಜಾನ್ಸಿ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ನ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ಡಯಾಗ್ನೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ನ್ಯೂಮೋನಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಬಳಲ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅವಳು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪೇಷಂಟು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಬದುಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸದೆ ಹೋದರೆ, ನಾನು ಬದುಕಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಹೋದರೆ, ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಬದುಕ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಥವರು ಬದುಕುವಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಈ ಥರ ಮೆಂಟಲಿ ಅವಳು ನಾನು ಸಾಯ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಳಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಾರಣ ಇರ್ಬೋದಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅವಳು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಾಳೆ? ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಐತಾ? ನಿನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನೀನು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಫ್ರೆಂಡು. ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಂದನಾದರೂ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಐತಾ? She always wanted to go to Italy and paint a picture of the Bay of Naples, said Shu. Shu says what she knows about her. No, sir, she always wanted to go to Italy. She used to tell me very often that she wanted to go to Italy and to paint a picture of the Bay of Naples. And that might be the only reason in her mind that she couldn't go to Naples to paint the Bay of Naples, and that may be the worry, that may be what is worrying her, and other than that there is nothing. Paint, not paint. Is there anything worth being troubled about? A man? No, such a thing cannot trouble her in this way. Is there anything else that is a problem in her life? Is there a man who has become a problem in her life? ಅವಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಶಿವ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಝಾನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಜೀವನದಾಗೆ ನಾನು ಇಟಲಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇ ಆಫ್ ನೇಪಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಪೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಬೇ ಆಫ್ ನೇಪಲ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಪಿಕ್ಚರನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಆಸೆ ರೀ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಭಾಳ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವಾಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ನೋ ಅಂಥ ಕಾರಣ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದತ್ತಾ? ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಾರು ನಡೆದತ್ತಾ? ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಳ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡೋ ಅಂಥವನು? ಎ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಸೆಡ್ ಶು. Is a man worth? No, doctor, there is not a man. Shu tells that, man, I think to trouble my friend Jhansi in this way, there is no such man of worth in her life. So, like this story runs. Let us end up our today's presentation. We can continue the story in the next session. Here, my dear viewer students, you will have to familiarize yourselves with the characters, and here these two friends stand for the theme of friendship. And in the later part we can read how that power of hope makes someone to get up from the great problem. How this Jhansi gets up in the bed to recover from herself from this fatal disease, pneumonia. And you can also understand the importance of faith, and how one should help the loved ones. The other friend Shu is very much worried about her life, and she has made up her mind to save her friend at any cost, and that's why she brings that doctor, and doctor tells no, there is no chance for her to recover from this disease. So in the later part of the story, let us see what happens in the next session. Milta?